Now I'm fully aware that I am not the fastest person in F1 or on the F1 games, and I'm never going to be. That's a good start to the video. I'm sure that will draw a lot of people in. I don't have the mentality or the desire to sweat time trial and get the best time, or, you know, buy the game on PC and cheat. But while I don't have the mentality to do that, I would absolutely love to be the fastest on F1. So I had a think, and while I may never be, well, there is no may, I will never be the fastest on time trial on the F1 games, I could potentially be the fastest in a speed run. So I went on speedrun.com, I went on F123, had a look at the runs, and there are 3 runners for 1 run, and it's complete all the tracks. The issue being, that's really fucking boring. So I went back to playing F1 casually. I was just driving about until I went for a spin, and I hit one of those annoying advertising polystyrene board things. Across many of the tracks there are a lot of these polystyrene boards with advertisements on, so I came up with the genius question of how quickly could I destroy them all? While I may not be the fastest driver, when it comes to destruction and crashing, I'm the one to do it. So I set off the task of planning this speed run, so I went through every single track at about 50 miles an hour, just above average pace for me. And I will say this was only including the advertising boards, I wasn't including brake markers or DRS boards because there are some tracks where you can't get them. So after that painstakingly slow method of figuring out what I had to do during the speed run, I started my first run, and annoyingly the recording corrupted, so you're going to join me at my second run. So here is the start of my first proper run, I guess. All the tracks on the left are obviously tracks that I can destroy advertising boards for, and the numbers next to them are how many I need to destroy there. So obviously starting off in Bahrain, there are 5 on the left hand side down the main straight, so we can just absolutely breeze through them. Then there are 3 in the turn 1 to 3 complex section. We take out the second one, then we have to turn around and get the one on the inside. We go for a little drive before we end up in sector 2, and the next ones are on the inside here. We very nearly missed them, so I have to take a tight turn to get them. We have 1 to take out on the inside of turn 11, which is pretty easy to spot and hit. We then have 3 on the inside of turn 11 and 12. We've got 2 just before turn 13, and then 1 right on the exit, which I definitely do miss, so we have to reverse to get that one. This first run is off to a phenomenal start. Then we have 2 down the back straight, and that is Bahrain done, and we split and we are a second faster. Imola is actually a pretty fun track for this one. We've got 1 on the right hand side just before turn number 1, and then we can cut the entirety of sector 1 until we get to turn 4. The reason it's a fun one is because we've got these 2 double barriers which we can go straight through simultaneously, and it's a very satisfying feeling. And the final 2 for Imola are on the exit at the inside of turn number 6. And if you couldn't guess from the time save in Imola, I definitely missed one on my first run. In Spain we have to go for a little drive through sector 1 before we get to any barriers. There's one on the inside of turn number 5. Then we have a majority of them just in this section, I don't know what you want to call it, but most of them are here. It's pretty straightforward. And the final one is on the second DRS straight on the right hand side. Austria is a pretty easy one despite the way I make it look in this particular run. There's 4 on each of the main straights, 3 on the right side and 1 on the left in this one. We hit the barrier, but luckily it does line us up pretty well for the 4th one on this straight. Then on the following straight there's 2 on each side, but they are quite spread out, so it's a little bit awkward. We have to turn around and hit them. It's just hitting barriers. It's even more difficult to commentate over than normal races. In Silverstone I realised early that turning around was a lot quicker than doing an entire lap because most of them are in sector 3. There's 2 on either side of the hangar straight, which means we've got to turn around and take both out, and the remaining 3 are on the entrance to Maggots and Beckett's. We're going to go through Beckett's and Maggots. We're going to take out the first board, and then we have a think about whether getting the one on the right hand side, but we decide to get this one ahead of us first and then turn around. Despite the fact I was very incapable of making a decision in the moment, but eventually we turn around and get the 5th and final one for Silverstone. Hungary is definitely the easiest track for this speedrun because they're all in the same place. You've got 4 on the left hand side down this straight and 3 on the other side. Belgium, however, can fuck off. As soon as we gain control, we've got 1 immediately on our right hand side, and then we're just going to complete a lap until we see the other ones. And that annoyingly doesn't come until we get to the inside of turn number 8. We've got 2 on the right hand side, which we're going to take out, and then another 2 on the right hand side on the entrance to turn 9. We then have 2 on the left hand side on the exit of turn 9, go through Pouillon, and then we've got a single one on our right before turn 11. There's an annoying little one on the inside, which, now that I say it out loud, reminds me of my league racing days. And now we're back on the final straight for the final few. We've got 2 on the left hand side, which I missed the second one, and the remaining 3 are on the left hand side, so stick on the grass and you'll hit them eventually. Now if you know anything about Italy, you'll know this will be a fun one. We've got a total of 16 arrows here, which we've got to take out, although they may not be advertising boards. To be honest, I just wanted the fun of taking all of these out. We've all done it. We then go on to complete almost a full lap of Italy before we've got these 4 annoying ones just hidden away at Ascari. I mean, I don't know what benefit they're having there. They're just annoying for me. Japan honestly is pretty straightforward. There's no real hidden ones away other than this one on the right hand side, which is the last one of the lap. But then Kota is where it starts to go downhill because there's 7 on this track. And if you watch closely, you'll notice I definitely don't hit 7. We hit 3 before the S section and then 1 after the S section, and then drive past 1 on our right, which I somehow look behind and still don't notice it. So as it stands in my head, I'm currently on 4 out of 7. I've obviously driven past one of them, and I knew the other 2 were in sector 3, I just couldn't remember where. While I was thinking this, I drove past one almost instantly, luckily looked behind me and spot the little fucker hiding in the inside. I then have a very embarrassing moment where I try and hit it. It takes an annoyingly long time. We were then able to get 6 out of 7 by hitting the last one in the lap, which I thought was the second last one in the lap, so I continued on my way searching for the final one. Through sheer impatience and incompetence, I assumed that I miscounted the first time round, assumed there were 6, so I moved on. So as first runs go, it was pretty successful. I was obviously the fastest in the world at this category. Even though it's not an official category, I'm the only one to do it and I didn't do it properly. But other than that, I am the fastest in the world. I ended up watching the run back on editing and I realised just how awful it was. I didn't even show you the rest of it because there's no point. I missed a lot of them and it's honestly not worth your time. So after that, I went through the painful experience of going through the tracks again, and this time I made notes of where every single advertising board was. I'm not ashamed to admit that I put in a lot more time and effort into this fake speedrun than I probably should have. Definitely should have. The only issue now was I had notes and a sort of understanding of what I had to do for this speedrun, which means I took it a lot more seriously. I mean, I say I take it more seriously. On my next run, I immediately miss the 4th board in the run. I don't notice, so I go on to complete the run. I obviously get a better time because I was more experienced. But yeah, once again, it means absolutely nothing because I missed the board. And in typical fashion, despite being the only one competing in this challenge, I was still finding a way to not win. So I took a day's break and I used that day genuinely to study my notes and learn where everything was. I wish I was joking. Oh god, my voice is fucked. It's a very red can, isn't it? Do you know what else is red? The subscribe button. If you're enjoying this video and you'd like to see more content from me, hit subscribe. I do a variety of content from fake speedruns to losing online to DNFing online to potentially getting podiums online on the rare occasion. Hit subscribe. So on day 2 of this speedrun challenge, I wish I was joking, I recorded for 2 hours straight. Once again, I have a problem with putting in too much effort into something so pointless. Regardless, this is the result. Got the fucking inside one again, you fucking idiot. Oh, fuck off, you piece of shit, curb. Oh, mate, what the f***? No, turn more, you fucking hell. Oh, fuck off, did I not hear that? There's one on the left. Oh, mate, I've already lost. Are you fucking kidding me? I hit that. What the fuck was... Oh mate, you can... Where's this fucking bump come from all of a sudden? I literally went fucking through it. So yeah, approximately I'd put about, I don't know, 5, maybe 6 hours into these stupid speedruns at this point, and I was still yet to get an actual valid run. And all I wanted to do was get one single valid run to say I'd done it. But I couldn't fucking do it. But that was until hour number 6 of recording across 2 days. So I started run number I can't even remember, but I did remember to get the inside advertising board at turn 3. So at least 40 seconds in, my run was still valid, which was an improvement. The rest of Bahrain was pretty clean, and we end the first segment 3 seconds clear. Imola was another easy one to do because mainly I didn't fall victim to the stupid bouncing that I was having troubles with in the montage. I don't really know what the cause of it was. But the good thing is we didn't suffer from it. In Spain I finally had the genius idea that turning around was actually more effective than just doing an entire lap. At least it would have been more effective had I actually hit the final advertising board and not completely missed it. On a slightly more positive note, we are only 2 seconds down out of Spain, although we could have been about 15 seconds clear. Austria was pretty clean, only losing half a second, but in Silverstone I was once again incompetent as I got 4 out of 5 of the advertising boards but forgot 1 down the hanger straight. So going into Hungary, we were 10 seconds down. I wasn't incompetent in Belgium though, and I was able to get that 10 seconds back, and we were in the green once again. Monza wasn't an improvement, but we were at least on pace. Japan we were able to not mess up and actually save another 10 seconds. In Kota I actually knew where I was going and hit all the boards, so I didn't invalidate my run, which was a success. Mexico was pretty clean, but we did bleed a little bit of time, but we did manage to claw it back in Brazil, and we were 7 seconds clear going into Abu Dhabi. All I had to do really was just keep a clean run and I would naturally get time save, something that was crucial in China given I lost a lot of time on my best run. And with 2 splits left, I was 20 seconds clear. In France I bled a little bit of time purely because I was just being cautious and making sure I got all the boards. Then we go into Portugal, the final split of the run. All I needed to do was not spin on the grass and I'd have a decent PB and finally I could upload this video. We turn around immediately given how all the advertising boards are basically in the same place, and cutting the corners as much as physically possible and hoping we don't spin the car. Unfortunately we weren't going to get a sub 27, but honestly at this point I really didn't care, I just wanted to be over with this challenge. And Portugal is actually an easy track to learn because it's basically just follow the advertising boards. From the second you take one out you can see the next one, until we get to these final 6 at the end. These are the last ones. We get all the 5 on a line, have a little spin, and there is the final one. I'm going to drive into it, split, and we finally get a valid run. And I give a little wheel wiggle celebration there, but in reality I was absolutely screaming with delight, which is probably why my voice is completely fucked currently. I will admit this did mean a lot more to me than it should have. But we finally end the stupid challenge with a time of 27 minutes and 14 seconds to knock out every single advertising board you possibly can on F1 23. So if you do feel like taking on this speedrun, leave your comments in the time below. What? What just happened to me? Oh, you know what? Fuck it. I'm just gonna leave it there. I'm gonna leave it on that note. Sure. See ya.